Hey guys, Huzzy bringing you another video. I just realised I've got snow on. I will take that off just for the video, but there we go. Welcome to a patch note video. This is 11.24, and yes, this is officially the last patch of, well, 2021. And I believe also that means season 11. Again, Riot don't really call the seasons by like season 11 and then season 12 anymore. They seem to now be naming it season of the year. So season 2021, season 2022. I don't know what I think of that. Like, I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. But anyway, there hasn't been a patch note for quite some time. Because one, it's pre-season and they do get a little bit more lax with it, which is completely fair enough. They kind of give some bigger changes at the beginning of pre-season and they want to see how it goes. They need data to see if it's a good or a bad thing. But also there was Thanksgiving as well. So what I would say, question of the day for this video is give me a bit of a summary for the season. I am planning on making a video of like my year summary of how I feel it went. A lot of it will be comments that I've mentioned throughout the season, but just to kind of have it all in one place. And I might, part of that video, have a kind of comment section that I'm reading out comments from you guys, your opinions. If you liked it, great. If you didn't like it, say why. Let me know, and I'll have a section that I might read out some comments from this video. But let's get into it. So, we're keeping it classy this week with sophisticated champion item rune and dragon updates to keep pre-season running splendidly. Ultimate Spellbook, I don't really care for that. But yeah, so it's just basic updates, nothing major. So let's go through it. So we're getting new Debonair skins. But we have nerfs first to CAMILLE, Axiom Arc, Frostfire Gauntlet, Even Shroud, Cosmic Drive, Crown of the Shattered Queen, Predator, and Chemtech Dragon Soul. Ha ha ha. Surprise! We're getting buffs to Caitlyn, Ivan, Kale, Samira, Twitch, Urgot, Archangel, Conqueror, Chemtech Dragon, but it's, again, we will get onto that later, and Hextech Dragon. So I really hope Riot don't think they're underperforming. These dragons seem mental, and I don't know if anybody has looked at the overall data. Basically, Dragon Souls, whichever team gets the Dragon Soul, I'm not going to like, some people will probably go, Chemtech Soul has got a 90% win rate. Yeah, so all the dragons, if you get the Dragon Soul, your win rate in the game always is above 80%. Like, it's obvious. Whichever team is winning the most gets the Dragon Soul, they're probably going to win the game. But the top two, if I'm not mistaken, Chemtech Dragon Soul and Hextech Dragon Soul, surprisingly, unsurprisingly maybe, jumped to be the top two win rate Dragon Souls. So yeah, all of them are insanely high win rates, but those two, the brand new ones, have both jumped straight to the top. Not surprising. The dragons are just stupid. I will say my overall opinion of like playing them with them now for 3 weeks, I can accept Hextech Dragon. I think it's okay, but to me, Chemtech has no place in League. It is so unhealthy for the game, and it's broken. Like, it just is flat out broken. So many things don't work with the stealth, the camouflage mechanic still to this day. It's not good. I really do hope Riot consider taking that one away, but keeping Hextech, but knowing Riot, they probably won't, unfortunately. We're also getting adjustments to Kled, Glacial Augment, obviously that got buffed recently, and Lethal Tempo. And as mentioned, we're getting new stuff of a Debonair. So all of them are Debonair, with the Prestige version being a brand. And this is available December 9th, so the day after the patch comes out. So let's get into it. So Caitlyn, so this is more for a headshot. So Caitlyn had a headshot mechanic, and her upgrade, her ASU upgrade, yeah, it kind of bugged it or like made it not work properly. So, updated is the healthy headshots is when Caitlyn targets an enemy marked by her W, the trap, or her net, her headshot partially resets, firing faster than a normal basic auto attack. Also, fixed a bug where Caitlyn was able to headshot enemies while being revived. I have seen that myself. It was a bit like, wait, she was dead. She was reviving. How did she headshot somebody? Yeah, that was a bug. So there's all that. So they're fixing that, which is good. CAMILLE, one of the banes of League of Legends right now, I would say. Like, again, when CAMILLE Q feels basically as powerful as a Cho'Gath ultimate, and she can do it like every 8 seconds, you know it's probably a problem. And look what's not being nerfed, her Q. But anyway, W, the cone is being nerfed a bit. So the percent damage is going down of target's maximum health, and as well as the scaling. So you also got scaling per 100 AD. That is also getting lowered. So just flat out nerfs for her W. And then the hook shot, her E, her mobility, a lot of her strength, you know, Camille, is she doesn't have to go flash anymore like a lot of champions. They just focus on doing all the damage in the world. They don't die anyway because they're tanky, and they do 1,000,000 damage. So they just run TP Ignite, and Camille is one of those champions. And a part of that strength is of how often she can have E. The old cooldown used to be a 10-second cooldown on rank 5, and with cooldown reduction, etc. Probably get down to a 7-second cooldown, something like that. So they're just nerfing that towards the mid to late game, which I do agree with. So it's now a 12-second cooldown, not a 10. It's again, Camille's an insanely powerful champion. Like, a few years ago, Camille wasn't popular. What happened? Item changes, system updates. These things change, and a champion like Camille can kind of go, oh, hello. Synergizes amazingly well the new items, the pace of the game, the aggression of the game now. It just suits Camille perfectly. So that is why Camille has, like, risen and has basically stayed at the top for a long time. No pun intended, also being a top laner. Ivan. So yeah, Ivan was big sad. I do feel sorry if you were like a main or a one-trick with Ivan recently. So they did a jungle change that was... We did mention it in our patch note video. It was to make snowballing jungling less apparent in the early game. That if you missed out on a scuttle crab, or if one jungler got help with a team and helped them get both scuttles and you got none, you were screwed. It was to make that less apparent that the first two scuttles, so when they spawn at the same time, they gave very little XP. But part of all the changes, like Krugs gave more or Krugs gave less, they changed some experience around in the jungle just to make up for that. It screwed Ivan that he couldn't get like level 4 from a full clear, which every other jungler could. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So they are upping for just Ivan. The Krug experience is going up by a lot, nearly quadruple, and the gold is also going up for Ivan. It's because, again, he struggles in certain aspects. So it's just to give Ivan a bit of love, and I think that's good. Kayle. So, Kayle, again, extremely crazy champion. Slight spoiler, I think I'm uploading it in a few days' time. I had a Kayle on the enemy team absolutely obliterate a Sylas on my team in lane phase. It's the new lethal tempo. She doesn't even feel weak in the early game anymore when that's giving her range. So, yeah. Passive, though, is getting the distance of the waves launched by Kayle's basic attacks when she is aflame, or exalted, or transcended, now scales with her bonus attack range. Ooh. Nice. So, like, with lethal tempo, it's going to be faster. So, like, it wouldn't keep up. I'm guessing the waves of damage wouldn't keep up with the auto attack that you're getting on the bonus 100 range, or, yeah, 100 range. It's now keeping up with that. So that's helping her damage and DPS continuously feel good with also lethal tempo. So that's good. Kled. Kled's scary. I played against a Kled today. You will see that video as well. I played Mundo. So Kled and Skull's health calculations changed. W cooldown reduced, E cooldown reduced, and AD ratio increased. So I was like, it was very annoying playing against Kled. He was running TP barrier, because again, doesn't need flash for some reason. And could just kind of dive me as a Mundo, which you're like, what? You're tanky, right? Yep, I was. Didn't matter. A lot of it doesn't matter because of the health. So this would be interesting to see what they're doing. So Skull's base health now counts towards Kled's base health, not Kled's bonus health. Interesting. Any health items that Kled purchases will add to Skull's health and count as bonus health then. Okay. So while unmounted, Kled will check whether Skull's courage has been restored twice as often, reducing the time it takes for them to reunite and max courage. And then finally, Kled now spawns with full health. Oh, right. Because when he spawns, he would spawn with like lower health, and then because of the Skull kind of thing with health. His health now, his base health is him and Skull together, where it didn't used to work that way. I can't tell if this is a buff or a nerf. It's just a system change. In some aspects, it's going to be a nerf because some things scaled off bonus health, and he won't be having as much bonus health, I think, because Skull won't be counting as bonus health. But in another aspect, some things do scale off base health. So it's much of a muchness, I think. It's an interesting change. The W cooldown also has gone down, and the jousting cooldown has gone down, and the AD ratio has been increased. So compensate. I'm guessing the health thing is a nerf overall, and they're giving him compensation buffs to the W and the E. That's what I'm guessing. It's hard for me to know perfectly as not a Kled player. Oh, there you go. Oh, I missed this bit. Sorry. So Skull's base health used to be that. It's going up. So he is getting more health from Skull as the game goes on. But yeah, that must be overall a slight nerf in the health to get buffs like that. Twitch. Our bolt distance now scales with bonus attack range. So again, you're seeing this with Kale. You're seeing this with Twitch. It wasn't working as intended with Lethal Tempo. He wasn't getting the extended ultimate range with having an extra 100 range from Lethal Tempo, but now he is. That's good. Samira. Whoa, that's kind of big. No mana cost at all for her ultimate. So her ultimate was free cast at level 16. But it's now free at level 6. It's now free at level 11. That's big, because at level 6, you don't have a big mana pool only at level 6, and you can be out of mana at an early fight at level 6 in a 2v2 bot lane. Well, now she won't need mana to press R in an early fight. Because it used to be 100 mana. 100 mana for an AD carry that doesn't buy any mana items is a lot of mana. That's quite big. That's going to be interesting. Urgot, I do play from time to time. Passive and W attacks now scale with bonus attack range. Literally the Lethal Tempo. So you can now go, you know, again, the same, just in case you wanted to run Lethal Tempo on Urgot. I don't know if you would. Maybe. I don't know. PTA just seems so much better for Urgot, to be honest, because do you really want to be further away? Well, I was going to say, do you want to be further away because the passive, but they're actually making the passive scale with that as well. So maybe it's actually not that bad. I'm not sure. That would be an interesting thing to see how Urgot players react to that. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Maybe PTA is just a stronger power spike early. I don't know, but that's interesting. Archangel. So Archangel is a relatively forgotten about item. People ignore it because, you know, mana doesn't seem to be as big of an issue nowadays than it used to be. You know, you have your first item as a mage is a mana item, and that's pretty good. A lot of people may buy tier but never upgrade it and sell it later on if they think mana in lane phase is a problem. But what they're doing is, instead of adjusting the item entirely, they're just making it cheaper, which considerably cheaper, by the way. So 400 gold cheaper. That's big. 400 gold, that's over a kill worth of gold. That's not bad. So yeah, that's making a much nicer item to potentially go for. Axiomark, ridiculous item. Should never be in League of Legends, but it is for some reason. So the damage reduction of it, sorry, not the cooldown reduction for your ultimate is going down. It used to be 25%. It's now 20%. I still, again, like I said at the beginning of this video, and I don't mean to be, you know, a Debbie Downer or someone that's negative, but I do really hope Riot, you know, when they make change, that's fine, but the old balance team and the old devs of League, they felt, I feel at least personally, that they were give and take. That if they would give something, they would take away things that the community just hated. The new dev team, or what seems to be, they don't, like, they haven't really taken anything away that people have disliked. Like I said about, you know, I don't know anybody that likes the new Dragon, Chemtech. Again, some people, Hextech, all fine with it. The portals are interesting. I don't know anybody that likes the other one, Chem. Axiomark is a silly item. It's a massive item, mainly for a champion class that was one of the most popular champion classes in the whole of Season 11. AD Assassins. They were everywhere. Like, why are you giving them this powerful item? And it's not even that class specifically. I don't know if I can't remember if I'm uploading it or not, but there was a game that I played recently with a Karthus who ran Axiomark. Karthus is running an AD lethality item. Yeah, it gives him nothing other than the ultimate cooldown, which is insane. It's just silly. Like, I just hope that they get rid of this item, but I don't have the faith in the dev team that they're going to get rid of it. I just don't. I think that's the way of it, but we'll see. Cosmic Drive is significantly overperforming on most champions. Yet again, item diversity or diversity of builds doesn't really exist because you're basically building the same 3 items a lot of the time on mages nowadays. I don't see that as a problem myself, but, you know, it's a goal that Riot has. The ability power of it is being nerfed, the health of it is being nerfed, and the decay movement speed is also being nerfed. Wow, that is a nerfs. Wow, they really don't want people to be buying that a lot anymore. Wow. Woo. God, that is surprising, you know? That is insanely powerful, 5% nerf. This has been nerfed in everything. Like, whoo. That's kind of nuts. So Crown of the Shattered Queen, very strong item, arguably needed in modern day League of Legends to let mages have a chance to survive the damage, but they are nerfing it. So the ability power was 70 ability power, it's now down to 60 on base, and then the Ornn item is much the same. But obviously, remember, they're not, you know, it's a bit of a nerf. I think it's fine. It's a strong item, obviously. But you're gaining ability power when you get the proc. The defensive proc that is 75% damage reduction. You're also getting, I think, like 40 ability power or something like that when it procs. So overall, I think that's fine. It is a strong item, and I will admit it's a very strong item. But as I said earlier, I do think it needs to exist. Mages were mainly forgotten in the vast majority of Season 11. Weirdly, they were around in Worlds, like pros wanted to play mages, I think. But mages couldn't really exist for the majority of Season 11 because they just couldn't. They got kills in lane versus 1v1 things, and then they got out-roamed on, that their lane opponent would leave lane and roam. The mage couldn't push quick enough because their damage wasn't great in the early game because they had to build a Zhonya's every game early. So this item is the answer to that. It gives you the damage that you do need to have that consistency and power in the early game, but then you also won't die every single time an assassin sneezes on you. So I do think it's needed, but it is strong. Even Shroud, I like this item, but they are nerfing it, which, again, 12% I think was quite a lot. So Even Shroud is when you're a support, it's a support item. When you get CC'd or you CC people, everybody in the vicinity takes 12% more increased damage for 5 seconds, kind of like a Vladimir Hemoplague ultimate. They are nerfing it down to 9% for 4 seconds. So that is a big nerf, a 1 second drop, 20% in its duration, and 3% off its actual damage done bonus. So bit of a nerf, but I still think vast majority, you know, it's what I've said earlier, I think you'll be building this every single game. If you play Leona, I will never buy Locket of the Iron Solari ever again, I don't think. Why? Because the game is focused on damage, not defense. I'm going to buy that. Like, I'm going to make my team do more damage. And I'm going to be tanky anyway, like whether I get Locket or not. But that, to me, is making my team do more damage. You know, I think League of Legends a lot of the time now is kill the enemy quicker than they can kill you. That helps that situation. So why would I buy Locket? You know, a 9% damage boost is going to be doing more than a 300-400 health shield potentially in late game anyway. So yeah. Frostfire. So Frostfire Gauntlet is a punch above the other tank mythics, offering a little bit of everything for relatively low cost. We're bringing down its damage, which was a bit too high compared to Sunfire, including the health scaling. So the melee Frostfield damage is going down. They're getting rid of the 0.5 max health extra damage, just going. But and the base damage is also going down, which big nerfs, double nerfs. Also for range is getting nerfed too. Damn. Conqueror. So the nerf to Conqueror's duration in 11.21 was a little too restrictive. We're partially reverting the nerf to boosting its damage to make comparable keystones, etc. I would say this is more because, like they're saying here, grass, fleet, lethal tempo. To me, like, I've seen so many people that used to take Conqueror, they now all take lethal tempo. I think lethal tempo is such a strong rune. It's kind of outshone Conqueror on a lot of champions now. Glacial Augment. So Glacial Augment is the best keystone for many tanks by a large margin right now. We're nerfing it in a way that shouldn't affect its other users. So they're just getting rid of the slow amounts going down slightly. The ability power ratio is going up though. The AD ratio is going up though. And the heal and shield power is going up. So basically, Senna is a good example of this, and Morgana, both of them use Glacial Augment. So it's actually going to be fine for those two because they're gaining the stats back through the scaling that they're building with AD or AP, where a tank doesn't really buy AD or AP. But like an actual tank that's building this will feel a little nerf. So that's, you know, it is what it is. Here is the rune in question, Lethal Tempo. So it's a little bit too strong for melee champions. It's also failing to fulfill its attack speed fantasy for ranged users. So we're shifting some of its power from its bonus attack range for them. Again, I don't know if they're still going to adjust Yasuo and Yone with this rune. They shouldn't really be performing the way that they are with this rune. They adjusted the old lethal tempo for Yasuo Yone, but they haven't done it with this one. It's a bit weird. It's a bit inconsistent. But anyway, melee attack speed per stack used to be 15%, it's now 13%. It used to be up to 90%, it's now up to 78%. Bit of a weird number. And then ranged attack speed per stack, it used to be 5% up to 30, it's now 7 up to 30, up to 42. So basically, it's been overperforming on melee champions and underperforming on ranged champions. But also, the ranged champions, they're only giving them 75 bonus range, not 100, which I think is fair because they're giving them more attack speed. I think that's a good trade-off. So there you go. Predator, very popular rune right now. Maximum movement speed is being nerfed down to 45% instead of 60, and the ramp-up time is going up to 1.5 seconds. So have you ever been in lane as a jungler, as a mid laner, and the enemy jungler just pops it basically right in front of your face and gets it straight away, and you're like, oh, I'm dead. Well, now it's a little bit of a less ramping up time, and they're not as fast. So I think that's fair. It's all over the meta right now is Predator. You're even taking a lot of mages. Veigar, Vladimir, Galio, Annie, all like Predator, because the meta, again, I've got to just describe it as I've always said, the meta of League is roaming. That's what it is. So Predator is a roaming aggressive rune. It's giving you movement speed running towards enemies in bot lane. That's what it is. So they're nerfing it, which could shift the meta away from roaming, but I doubt it. Dragons. The temporarily doubled selection rates. Oh. I missed that. I must have. Because I was speculating and someone did tell me, but I didn't know it was doubled. I was like, why is this every game? It's a Hex or a Chem, and it always made me sad when it was a Chem dragon because I don't enjoy that dragon at all. And it's because their rates were doubled. I had no idea. That's why it's been so frequent. So I will say, I don't blame Riot for that. So it's pre-season. They're wanting to test things. I just must have missed it. My bad. So it's going back down to normal rate selection. The reason why they doubled the chance of getting the new dragons is because they want data. It's that simple. They want data to see if these dragons are healthy. But yeah, they're not going to remove them, let's be honest. But all I would like to know is their normal selection rates. All I would like a clarification on, if ever we can, does that mean now that Chem and Hex have the exact same ratio as the other dragons, or do they still slightly have a biased ratio towards those two? Is it now a 1 in 6 chance for all of the dragons completely fair and square, or is it still weighted a little bit to be the new dragons? I personally wouldn't be surprised if it's still weighted towards the new dragons. It just wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, it would be interesting to know. Chemtech Dragon. The standard Chemtech Dragon buff is notably weak, while conversely the Dragon Soul is too strong. We're also adding a visual helper so you can identify Chemtech zombies better. So the buff, it was giving 5% bonus damage, etc. It's now giving 6. And then the Dragon Soul is champions briefly revive for a second life for 5 seconds and deal 33% less damage, but it's now 4 seconds and deal 40% less damage. So they're doing less damage and they're alive for less as well, okay? And then champions revived by the Chemtech Dragon Soul will now have a zombie state indicator on their health bar. Again, I just think it's a really stupid mechanic. Why are you giving everybody Scion passive? It's a stronger Scion passive. Scion revives and only can punch things faster, and then his health decays. Everyone has their own abilities, for God's sake. Like, was it today? I think it was today. Yeah, it was. It was my Mundo game. We got Chemtech Dragon Soul on Mundo. That's ridiculous on Mundo. Like, it's just crazy. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. Let me know what you guys think down below. And then Hextech Dragon, the one that I think is less offensive, and I said that when these got announced, I was like, okay, that one is still dumb, but it's okay. I've grown to like Hextech more. The portals do make interesting moments. I still think it's gimmicky, but they do make interesting moments. I'm fine with Hextech. If I would be massive smile on my face, keep Hextech any day of the week if you got rid of Chem. But yeah, so they're just giving a buff because apparently it's been underperforming, which is grants ability haste and 5% attack speed. It's now giving 6 ability haste and 6% attack speed per stack. That's not too bad. Ultimate spell, but we don't really care about. ARM balancing, I don't really care about. Bug fixes, as I've always said, if you see a champion here, do read it. That you obviously play, and then we have the upcoming skins. So there we go. Not a bad patch. Also brand new chromas as well. RE-versary. So there's an RE-versary event apparently. That maybe it's a I don't know. What would Aria be, like 8 years old, 9 years old? Maybe even 10, I don't know. But there we go, that's the patch. So overall, I'm fine with it. They are making changes. It is nice to see Camille getting nerfed, but maybe not the thing that everybody expected, her Q. And, you know, again, I like that they're still making adjustments. Yes, I'm not a fan of some of the things that's still in the game. The Chem Dragon, I think that's the biggest one. I'm okay with the state of the game right now, I will say that. Mages are back, many thanks to Crown of the Shattered Queen. But, you know, I'm having a fun time in the game. I am. I'm wanting the new season, which we're about a month away or 3 weeks away, something like that. I am really looking forward to the new season. I am looking to do well in the upcoming season. I'm looking to climb. And it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to season 12 or 2022. If you are, do let me know that as well. And as I mentioned, let me know what you think of the previous season, and I might include it in some of the upcoming content of like my summary of the last season. But that's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.